Hey guys, I'm going to show you how you can build an AI version of yourself for pennies on the dollar. So if you want to make like cool creative images like the one you see on screen of me, where you can make yourself look like you're on the front cover of Vogue, or maybe you want to look like a fighter pilot, or maybe you want to look like you're stood on the beach in Thailand and your arms are way bigger than they are in real life. Whatever you want to use it for, whether it be LinkedIn headshots, whether you want to replace yourself in social media images, being able to train an AI model on something that looks just like you or pennies has unlimited use cases. And to be honest, it's just a whole lot of fun. So I'm going to show you how you can do this. It literally will take you 15 minutes. So what we're going to do is we're going to train something called a LoRA. Now, to keep that super uncomplicated and non-technical, a LoRA is just something, it's a data set. It's an existing data set that we can build on top of. So rather than having to train your own AI model, start from scratch, install things locally, LoRA gives you the ability to just build on something, to build on a framework that already exists. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to need kind of 10 to 20, the more the better, but 10 to 20 images of yourself. Now, they need to be selfies. I'm sure you've got some. They need to be high res, so pretty much anything from an iPhone would do. But they need to be in like different lighting, different angles. Make sure there's nobody else in the picture because sometimes it can misconstrue. Like if it's got your wife or your partner or your dog in it, it could mess the models up. So make sure they're selfies. And just to give you a bit of an example, it's totally weird. I'm showing you this, but these are the kind of pictures I use to. I'll just make this a little bit bigger if I can. These are the kind of images I use to train my model, right? So I've got hats on, I've got glasses on, I've got AirPods in, I've got hoodies, jackets, different hairstyles, different environments. And you can now see what my wife has to deal with when I send her selfies pretty much every single day. So what you want to do is you want to grab all that data and then you want to zip the folder up. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this data set and put it into an environment where you can actually use the images to train your model. So I'm just going to do that right now. I'm going to send that to a compressed. And now I've got it on my desktop as a compressed zip file. So that's the first thing done. That is literally all you need to do. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to a website called Replicate. And Replicate is just, think of it as a playground. You can use different AI models, different playgrounds, different environments. And instead of you having to install these models locally, you're able to do it through their servers, through their environment. So why not take advantage of all of the hard work that they've already done? We'll get to this bit in a minute. This is another part of the tutorial. So I'll drop this link in the resources at the bottom of this post. But the Replicate website, if you've not been before, I'll just quickly run through how you can do it. You do need to sign up. So if you've not created an account, go to replicate.com. Sign up. Now, before we get into the actual training of the model, you do have to set up a billing account and you have to put in some credits. You can put like $5, $10, whatever you want. And you can set a cap. So if I just go to mine, for example, and I go to billing, and I'm happy to show you this, I've spent $3.01. So like £1.70 for those in the UK and maybe like €2 for people in Europe. I've got a $20 per month cap, so I will never go over that limit. And every single time I run a model, it is literally a third of a penny. So it's incredibly, incredibly cheap. So the $3 I've spent so far, I've probably generated in the region of like 25 to 30 images. And that also includes my training model. So I was able to actually train everything and produce follow-up images for $3. Now, the training itself, so get this set up, put in your credit card details, put as much as you want to spend, like $5 will absolutely cover you, so you can just chuck that on. The training itself takes between, I would say, like 20 to 30 minutes, so it's not crazy amounts of time. And once it's done, obviously I'm not going to let that run on the video, but once that's done, you then have that model stored and you can use that in different environments and you can I'll show you how to set it up, but there's a trigger word so you can use pictures of you in all of these different training models. So let me just jump to the training section now. So like I said, I'll drop this in here. And what we're using is the model Flux. Now, Flux is renowned for producing some of the best and highly realistic AI models on the internet. A lot of the SaaS subscriptions you've heard of, like Photo AI, Headshot AI, or Headshot Pro, all of these guys are using the exact same model. Now, one thing you can't do, just for those who are curious and interested, you can't do anything here that is like 18 plus. You can't do any not safe for work stuff in this environment. But if you wanted to try and test, different elements of that purely for educational purposes, if you connect this to an API, then you don't have any safety limits. So you can actually push those boundaries. Now, just to be safe and point this out, this is purely educational. Please don't misuse this. If you're going to train models, you can obviously train models on anybody's face. So don't misuse this. Use this purely for your own purposes to replace you. However, you're all adults, so what you do with it is entirely up to you. So once you hit down here, you've got select a model. Now, I obviously have a model in here, but what you're going to do is hit create model, and you're going to name whatever you want. So let's just say, for example, I called this scaled with AI. I'm going to hit create new model, and I want to make this private. So that means, I don't want anybody to just log in and use what I'm doing. So set it to private. Your input images is the zip folder that we created earlier. So I'm just going to grab that real quick. I'm going to go to my desktop and I'm going to upload the zip. Like I said, 10 to 20 images is going to be your best bet. The more, by the way, the better the results. But it will just take a little bit longer to train the model. Now we're going to set up what is called a trigger word. Now, a trigger word is just what you want to use as a reference every time you write a prompt. So you could just call it, for instance, I'm just going to call it scaled with AI. No, actually, that's too long. I am going to call this, what should I call it, guys? What should I call it? I'm going to call it caffeine, right? I don't know why. I've just looked at a juice I was drinking, 180 milligrams of caffeine. So I want to call this caffeine. So every time you reference this, it will tell the model, hey, this is the data set they're referencing. Let's create the picture based on that. Don't worry about any of this. So the auto caption prefix, you can leave that blank. The auto caption suffix, you can leave that blank. We're going to set the number of steps to 2000. We're going to leave the LoRA rank at 16. Like it says here. So if I can just zoom in, higher ranks take longer to train, but can capture more complex features. Unless you're doing something incredibly detailed, like architecture, or maybe you want to start a photography business with this kind of thing, I would leave it at 16. Obviously, the higher the number there as well, it's going to cost you more money, cost you more credits. So my recommendation, you can leave that alone. The next thing you're going to want to do is set up what is called a Hugging Face repo. Now, for those of you who are familiar with GitHub, treat Hugging Face in the exact same way. It's just basically an environment where it's like a GitHub for AI. It's like you can try new models, you can do it in their environment, people can submit like community different builds. So it's actually a really useful place if you want to go and test different AI models. I want to show you how to set it up. So first things first, create an account. I'm not going to show you how to do that. You just create an account. The website is huggingface.co. And once you're in there, the first thing you're going to want to do, so I'm just going to jump back to this. So you can see that I've already created a model here, right? So this is my model for the LoRA training. So once you've signed up, you don't have to put any billing details or anything like that. To create an account is free. Once you've signed up though, you can jump into the top right-hand side where your profile picture is. You hit new model. Let's just call this scaled with AI. You don't need to worry about the license. It will predetermine that based on what you add. Now, initially, I tried to set this to private. But if you set this to private, the LoRA model won't be able to find your Hugging Face repo. So you have to leave that as public. People won't find it. They won't go looking for it. But just for the sake of setting this thing up, that's how you have to create your model. Now, I'm not going to set this up I can actually, let me just do it. So I'm going to set this up as public. So now I have this model, and this little link here is my Hugging Face repo ID. So I'm just going to copy that, jump back into the training, and copy and paste that. That's all I need. The next thing I need to do is create a token specifically for LoRA. So we jump back into Hugging Face, go to your profile in the top right corner, hit access tokens, and then create new token. Now, it will only, just like every other access token, it will only ever give you this once. Save it somewhere, and then if you lose it, set up a new one. So create new token. And when you create new token, you have to click, unfortunately, every single box here. I'm not going to do that because it will just waste your time, but you have to click everything that has a tick box. You have to select. And then you hit create token, and it should give you your token key. And once you've got that, you go back to the trainer model and you paste it into your HF token. And that's it. The next thing you're going to want to do is, once all of that is pre-filled in, you're going to hit create training. And on the right-hand side, what you'll see is a little box that will pop up and say, like, training has started. In fact, I should have one just to kind of show you what you'll see. So on the right-hand side here, you can see everything started to run. This is what you'll see when you first start training your model. So Flux train replicate. Like I said, it takes like 15-20 minutes to do, depending on how many files you've got. But now that that's done, so wait your 15-20 minutes. Now that's done, you can actually go into the environment where you can, it's called inferencing, or yeah, that's how you say it, inferencing. It's basically your ability to reference your AI model so you can generate your own images with it. And you can do, like I said, any type of image you want. You can get creative. You can have so much fun with this. And trust me, it is a lot of fun. So I'm going to go to that page now. Again, all of these links will be in the post description. So we've got one running of me, but when you open this up initially, it will have a picture of a castle for whatever reason. And you can see here that I'm using my token word, which is the trigger word that I showed you in the last section when you train the model, right? Before you do all of that, the only thing you need to do is add your Hugging Face repo ID again. So we go back to Hugging Face, go to your profile, and select the model that you're using. So for example, in this case, I'm using Durrani. So I'm going to copy that, go back to my actual environment where I create the images, and paste that in here. So now that's there. Everything here can be changed based on, whatever you want. So prompt strength, number of outputs. I'm just going to set this to 1. Inference steps, guidance style, seed, LoRA scale. So I'm just going to talk through what some of these things are. So when you generate an image, you can continue to reuse that image as a seed. So what that means is every time you then populate a prompt, the seed number, so for example, 10, means every time you reference that seed, it will create an image nearly like for like. Because what will happen is if you don't have a seed number, it will just keep referencing your AI models, and you can leave that free, by the way, until it comes up with, something that you love. For example, you might have 15 different seeds depending on the environment, the scene, the clothing, the camera settings. So you can, and I would recommend you play with all of this. I'm not going to tell you how to set it all up because I think it's definitely subjective. Like it can be as creative or as rigid as you want. Now, creating a prompt in itself it's a bit of an art. So there are different ways you can do it. The best thing that I found is find an image that you like online that you want to recreate, drag that into ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to give you a LoRA prompt. And then you can just drag that into here and it makes everything so much easier. But for the sake of the video, I'm going to say a highly detailed image of Durrani. I'm going to do lowercase. So the uppercase and lowercase makes a difference. So if you put uppercase here and the token word or the trigger word isn't uppercase, it won't reference it. So a highly detailed image of Durrani. You can do this where you can have it as a woman and also a man. So if you want to see yourself as a woman and you're a man, you can do it. And if you want to see yourself as a man and you're a woman, you can do that as well. A man in fashion, Paris Fashion Week wearing a suit, professional photography shot on a DSLR, 35mm lens, black and white, high contrast. Now, of course, not every single run, but I'm just going to hit run. Not every single run here is going to be perfect. But the point is, because it's costing you so much money, so little money, not so much money, so little money, you can run until your heart's content. You can, train different prompts. You can do whatever you want, and it will give you the ability to understand what works and what doesn't. So on the right-hand side now, it's now running. You can see how quick this can be. And that's not a bad image. Apart from the fact my eyes look a little bit bizarre, that is not a bad image. Now, that's going to be my seed number 10, right? So every time this prompt or this model is used, it's seed number 10, which is how my hair is, the beard, the kind of pointy ears, the nose, basically me. But the seed reference number I used was this specific image of me. So like this is not bad at all. And if you want to get a little bit more, so I'm just going to change this to like, I want 3 outputs. I'm going to say I want prompt strength to be, let's try 0.5. Inference steps, I'm going to put this as 30. And then LoRA scale, let's drop that, or up that actually. Let's up that up to 0.9. And we're going to run that again and see what that does, right? And this is the beauty and this is the fun of being able to do this for pennies. Because like if you were doing this in a subscription model, right, it's going to cost you $25 at minimum just to play around and figure out what works and what doesn't work. So you're saving yourself what, $300, $500, $600 a year, and you can recreate yourself in any environment that you like. It's going to take a little bit of a second here because I've asked for a bunch of different parameters. So what I'll do is I'll pause the video and then restart it once it's back up. Oh, I don't even need to. Look at that. Look at that. As if by fate, it's kicked in itself. So this is going to take a little bit longer because the parameters are different. I've asked for more images and I've upped the LoRA strength. So let's just see what this does. And I'm always interested to see what these models do when you tweak the different parameters. And, it can make me look beautiful. It can make me look ugly. It can make me, like I said, it can make me a woman. It can make me muscly. I can do whatever I want with this. And that's the beauty of this reality now. So taking a little bit of a second, but don't be put off by this. Don't give up on it. It's still going to run incredibly quick. Like this is still minutes. 90%. I'm excited now. Watch this come back like super high class. There we go. Okay, so this image is really good. I like this image. This image is not so great, but it looks like it's picked me up in the background. I don't know if you can see. I'll zoom in a little bit. It's like picked me up here as well. And this comes down to how explicit your image is, right? So if my eye wasn't off a little bit here, I think in reality, this would be a really good image for me to use, especially on social media. So have fun with it. And another thing that I would recommend doing is, and I'll show you one of my chat windows from yesterday, is, like I said, grab an image online of like your favorite. For me, I grabbed Ryan Reynolds. Where is it? So what I did was I grabbed this image and I said, could you please write a prompt for me so I could recreate this image? And it gave me the prompt. It also gave me my negative prompts. And it also gave me like the different weights to set within the model. And one thing you can do if you feel comfortable with it is in the JSON setup here. So you've got your form, which is like, super easy and intuitive, but you've got this JSON form here. So you can add different, different parameters if you understand how JSON works. So you can ask ChatGPT to give you JSON output. So in here, you can put negative prompts, you can put extra prompts, you can do all kinds of cool stuff that you couldn't otherwise do in the form, because obviously in the form, there's no ability here for you to add negative prompts. So that is it. You now have the ability to run your own AI model trained on you for pennies. And again, so I've just ran all of these. It was $3.01 when I ran it last. So that cost me 11 cents to run all of that. So, it works out at 2 cents an image, depending on, which is infinitely cheaper than what you're going to get in a subscription. Anyway, I'll stop rambling. Hope you enjoyed this video. I really, really love this. This is a lot of fun. post your results in this page, because I really want to see what you guys get up to. Be creative with it. I might even do a little competition to say, the person with the best, most highly detailed image wins. I'm not sure yet. I'll put it in the post. But yeah, really love it, guys. Hope you enjoy it, and I will speak to you soon.